I'm Tom. Welcome to Double Trouble, and today we're looking at
Running with the Bulls.
Running with the Bulls. Now, Running with the Bulls is part of a series from Calliope Games called the Titan Game Series, in which he had kickstarted this a year or so ago, and each year 3 games are going to come out from 3 well-known designers who are designing games specifically for this series. Running with the Bulls was designed by Paul Peterson, who's known for Smash Up, which I think you like, Guillotine, which I'm not sure you ever played. I'm sure you chop people's heads off. Excellent game. Huh?
I think I played it.
Well, maybe. And this one here has a similar thing to Kachinko or Plinko or whatever it's called. You know, where you drop the coin in and it goes boom, 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 down to the bottom, which is what we do at Chuck E. Cheese. That's a good way to lose tokens.
Yeah.
Except this one, it takes place with the sport where you're running from the bulls. Where in Spain, people get in front of bulls and run and try not to get run over. Would you do this?
No.
Like for money?
No, I can't run.
Lots of money.
No.
It does seem to make sense. Well, in this game, your runners are actually going to be dice. The bulls are, well, bigger dice. Let me show you. So here's the board. You can see the board is very busy. There's bulls doing all sorts of things. Here, I'll focus up on a little bit of the artwork. You can see here is a bull reading a map, and a bull serving tea, and a bull breaking out of a house, and a gnome with a bull, or a skier. I'm not quite sure. And there's different roundabouts. There's starting roundabouts that are numbered from 2 to 6, and then there's 3 more before you get to the bottom. At the bottom, you're going to place some cards that are randomly drawn. There are several different cards, each showing different point values and some showing some extra stuff on them. You're going to roll a bull, that's the big red dice, for each location. Then each player is going to roll their runners. They have a certain number of dice depending on how many players are in the game. And they're going to put those dice at the matching roundabout. So you can see this roundabout here is 2. So everyone puts 2s there. If you get 1s, there is no roundabout 1, so you can place those wherever you want. Once everyone's done placing those, then you roll 1 extra bull, and that bull goes to whatever number you rolled it at. Each player is then giving a handful of cards, and starting with one player, whoever has the bull token here, you're going to each play a card around the table. So let's say, for example, white goes first, and so white says, re-roll all runners in 1 roundabout except yours. So they decide to do this one here. So they're going to re-roll all the runners except the white ones. So there they go. That's the card that they played. And then, let's see here. This next person says, back alley, move one of your runners to an adjacent roundabout. So that's played by purple. So purple moves this one here. And then the next player, re-roll a bull. So they re-roll this one here. And then that one is now a 1. And then someone else decides to also re-roll a bull. So they re-roll this one way over here. And that one is still a 2. And finally, the last player says re-roll all runners in 1 roundabout. So they're going to pick this one here and re-roll all the runners there. Okay, so now everyone's played a card. Now the runners are going to run. Now in some of the roundabouts, this one for example, and this one, the runners have only 1 path to go down. So these all just run straight down. In other roundabouts, well in 6 they all go down too. In other roundabouts, there's an even and an odd. Well, these 3 runners are all odd numbers, so they go here. Here, this guy is an odd number, so he runs to this one. The rest are even, and they run there. The bulls will do the same thing. So this one goes here. This one goes down. This one goes down. These are 2 odds, so they go there. And this one goes down. You then see if the bulls will run over anyone. These bulls are 1, so I look, are there any 1s? Yes, there's a 1 here, so I re-roll that die. If he rolled a 2, he's safe. If I had rolled a 1, then he'd be out. Here there's a 6, so the green die re-rolls his die. 1, he's safe. Here there's 5, so I re-roll the 2 that show 5s. A 1 and a 6, they're safe. Here there's a 2, and nobody is a 2. Let's say, though, for example, one of these was a 6 and one was a 1. In this case, I would have to re-roll all the dice because they match 1 or 6. And if I rolled a 1 or a 6 and a die, then they're removed. After you do that for each roundabout, everyone plays a card again. And then again, the dice are going to be moving on evens and odds. So they'll follow the path till they get to the blue. Then you'll play another set of cards and do the thing. Then they move down to these. Then you play another set of cards, and then you move down to the bottom. You see if the bulls trample anybody. Those dice are removed, and then each runner will score points equal to whatever they land at. So, for example, here in a festival, would be day 1, the first round. They're worth 1 point. In day 2, they're worth 2 points, 3 and 3. Here, 2 points for each runner, and whoever has the most runners gets an extra point. Here at the restaurant, simply 3 points. Here, only 1 point. However, each person who gets at least 1 runner here gets an extra runner the next day. And there's all sorts of things. Here you get an extra card the next day. Here you lose a runner the next day, but there are 4 points for each runner that you get there. There are cards that let you switch these here at the bottom. There are cards that let you put one of these signposts here on a spot. So if I put this signpost here, for example, on this, the purple runners are going to run that direction whether they're odd or even. And that will stay there for the rest of the game unless someone plays a card to remove it. So that's going to, be there forever. Each player has 3 of those. And so those can be placed on the board, causing runners to run in certain directions. These cards will then be replaced. You'll re-roll. The second and third day is done the exact same way as the first day. And after the third day, you will take all the points that you've been accumulating over the course of the game. And whoever has the most is the winner. Okay, so let's talk about the look of the game first. The artwork and the dice and the tokens and the cards and all that jazz. What'd you think?
I really like the board. I think the dice could have been a little different somehow. I don't know. They kept changing sides really easily.
Yeah, here's the thing. I like dice. I like dice with rounded corners. I know that dice with square corners are technically better, but dice with rounded corners, I like them because they roll really well. But when you're moving them on the board, it's really easy for these to fall over. Mm-hmm. In fact, that's a problem with the game as a whole, is that when you're moving the dice around on the board, you're moving big piles of dice. First of all, the paths are not so easy to tell. I know that there's even and there's odd, but there's also only, which is colors too. And it's not so easy to remember which one's even, which one's odd. I mean, moving them many times was problematic in a dice turnover. That's a small thing. The dice, though, are decent quality. And the artwork, you said you liked the board.
Yeah.
The only problem with the board is super busy. I would have washed it a little bit, made it lighter because wasn't always easy to see everything going on the board. Yeah. When you look at the board, your eyes go, wow. But I do like the artwork. It reminds me of like 70s artwork, like Mad Magazine style artwork. And it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Gameplay. All right, so what do you think about the gameplay? Playing a card and then seeing which direction the bulls went,
I thought it was very random. There wasn't much strategy. I don't think there was it's play a card and usually just roll and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of interesting, right? You move the dice around, odds or evens. Oh, that's intriguing. But you're playing a card from your hand. First of all, you're stuck with the card you got. Mm-hmm. Did you ever have a point where it didn't matter, you didn't care what card you played?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Reroll a bull.
Okay.
Sure. It's just some cards are better than others. Like reroll everyone else's runners but your own is definitely better than rerolling everybody.
And the one that you can put a sign to move your people.
You think that's a better one?
Yeah.
Right, but I mean, it doesn't matter though. Let's say Melody makes a sign and then someone else re-rolls the bull to go down after her. You going first in that phase, you're playing a card and each turn, you don't draw a new card every turn. You draw cards at the end of the round. You're kind of stuck with what you got, but then someone else will play a card. Like if I re-roll all the dice at one location and then Melody plays the exact same card, my card meant nothing.
Yeah.
And that's problematic. It's super random. You go down, and then even more random is the bulls. Did you ever, when you run from the bulls, there's this danger. The bulls are going to get you. Did you feel that in this game?
No.
Well, the bulls do kill a few
get
people.
You, but
yeah, but your chance of evading the bulls is really high. Mm-hmm. Now, if there's 3 bulls at a location, I guess that would be more dangerous. Maybe the game comes with extra bulls. I guess you could throw them in the mix. If there was more bulls running around the table, that'd be more scary.
And also the different locations. I was like, oh, I guess you just get the points to wherever you go. You could manipulate them and move them around. But it's kind of random as well.
I agree. Going down to those locations, boop, 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 boop. When you play those games at Chuck E. Cheese or Vegas or wherever you're playing these pachinko games, as it goes down, your best chance is to land in the middle. and then on the outsides. And they have, the best points are the hardest ones to get to. And so as you watch it go down, you're like, oh, I missed it. Oh, I should have dropped the coin in differently. No matter how you drop the coin in. And in this game, it's very similar. As you drop down to the first level, then everyone plays a bunch of cards, and everyone goes random to the next level, and then you play a bunch of cards, everyone goes random to the next level, and you play a bunch of cards, and go random to the next level. And then you think the game's over. But it's not. That was day one. And my biggest problem with this game is not even the luck. I don't really like the luck that much. But my biggest problem with this game is that it takes forever. And it feels like you're doing the same things over and over and over. Play some cards, move some dice, play some cards. And then when you're done, and whoever wins, you're like, congratulations, you played better than me by... No, that's a lie. She didn't play better than me. And that's where I think the biggest problem with the game is.
Yeah, it's just too random and boring.
But random wouldn't be a bad idea if it was shorter, maybe. But this one here is 40 to 60 minutes. That's too long for the amount of randomness in this game. So I'm going to give this one a pass. What's your rating on this?
A 3.
Whoa! Okay. Well, mine wasn't that
I don't
bad.
really like luck games. This one's too... No, I just thought it was really boring. I sat there most of the time. I was like, card, okay.
All right, well, I'll give it a slightly higher rate. I'll give it a 4.5. It gets the extra points because the artwork in it looks that good, and it seems like it's going to be fun. But unfortunately, Melody's right. It's random, and it's too long. After 2 days, you'll be like, that's the end of the game. They really should have made it a 2-day game, honestly. But when it comes down to the end, nothing you really do matters that much. And if it does, you just got lucky. So that's Running with the Bulls. I'm Tom Vasil.
And I'm Melody.
And you've been watching Double Trouble.
Boom!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.